Lieutenant Belenko, what are you doing? Do you hear me, Lieutenant? The static of the radio waves crackles in the cockpit, but the young pilot does not answer. He has just made a decision that history will call the most shocking. Defection of the 20th century. You are witnessing a Soviet pilot stealing his nation's most top-secret military aircraft right now and flying straight to American allies. His name is Viktor Belenko, and what he is about to do changes everything. He is flying a MiG-25, the world's fastest sky monster at the time, a machine the West craved for years. Soviet commanders are screaming into the radio to stop him. US intelligence is struggling to understand what is happening today. Japanese air defense forces have no idea a Soviet jet fighter is charging straight toward them. And Viktor? He is alone. He has only 30 minutes left until he reaches freedom or death. Why did he do this? What pushed him? What pushed an elite Soviet pilot to steal his country's most top-secret weapon? Let me tell you the whole story of Viktor Belenko and the breathtaking journey that collapsed a military legend. Part 1. Red alert at command headquarters. Right now. Soviet Air Defense Command, Far Eastern Military District. Radar operators stare at screens with disbelief in their eyes. A deviation. A MiG-25 has just deviated from its assigned route. Call sign Red 7. Pilot Lieutenant Viktor Belenko. The situation is, according to plan, this aircraft should patrol north along the Soviet coast. A standard routine training exercise, usually very boring. But radar shows it turning sharply east, heading straight for Japan. A radar operator hurriedly grabs the radio and shouts, "Red 7, you have gone off course. Confirm immediately." A terrifying silence descends. Red 7, return to base immediately, now. Still nothing. The MiG-25 continues flying east, leaving Soviet territory, heading toward international airspace. The commander rushes over to see. Looking at the screen, his face turning pale. "Get me the base commander, right now." Within seconds, alarms ring everywhere. Throughout the command center, officers run around, shouting, phones ringing incessantly. This is not a drill. This is a defection. A Soviet pilot is stealing a MiG-25, the most modern aircraft containing technologies that the Americans would trade anything for. The base commander arrives, glancing at the radar. "Do we have any interceptors in the air?" "No, sir. Nothing here." "Scramble them immediately." "Sir, by the time they take off, he will already be in international airspace." "Scramble them anyway!" Pilots sprint to their planes. Engines roar. But everyone in that room knows the truth. They are already too late. MiG-25 is the fastest interceptor in the Soviet arsenal. Nothing can catch it, even with fighters in the air now. Belenko is flying at over Mach 2, which is over 2,400 kilometers per hour. They will never close the gap. The commander grabs the radio, trying one last time. "Lieutenant Belenko, this is Commander Petrov. I order you to return. Return to base immediately. If you do not comply, you will be shot down." Only static electricity is heard now. Belenko does not answer, does not turn back, nor does he slow down. The commander slams the radio on table, looking at his officers. "Contact Moscow. Report that we have a defection in progress. A MiG-25 is heading for Japan." Part 2. The Kremlin's nightmare. At Moscow, KGB headquarters explodes. A stolen MiG-25? This is a national disaster, truly. Not just a pilot escaping, but the most advanced Soviet technology about to fall into American hands. NATO is terrified. To understand the severity, throughout the 1970s, the MiG-25 was NATO's terror. The West called it the Foxbat, a monster. Satellite photos showed a plane with massive wings and giant engines. US intelligence believed it could fly faster than anything, and its maneuverability was unimaginable. They feared American air superiority had ended. The US even accelerated the F-15 Eagle project just to deal with the MiG-25 threat. And now, a pilot is giving it away for free. Senior officials panic. What can they do? Shoot him down? That means losing the plane, debris falling into the ocean, or worse, Japan. Americans would still recover them, still analyze them. Let him go? Unthinkable. But stopping him? Nearly impossible. He is gone. Meanwhile, inside the cockpit, Viktor Belenko looks at the fuel gauge and his heart tightens. The needle is dropping fast. The MiG-25's massive engines consume fuel at a frantic rate, especially at top speed. He has flown at maximum velocity for over 20 minutes to escape Soviet radar range. Now he is paying the price. Viktor calculates in his head distance to Japan, current fuel level, consumption rate. The numbers are not favorable. He cannot reach a big city now, or a US military base in Okinawa as originally planned. He needs the first airport he sees, or he crawl. Đoạn 2, 5,000 Quito. Ashes. Belenko looks down at the endless water below, the Sea of Japan, dark and cold. If he falls here, it ends. The plane will sink. The Soviets will never recover it, nor will the Americans. Everything he risked will be zero. Life, future, family, all gone. He brushes the thought away and forces focus. The Japanese coastline appears in the distance now, faint but visible. He is so close. But the fuel needle continues falling into the red, the extreme alarm level. He has only minutes, maybe less. He scans the horizon desperately, searching for anything that could save his life today. A city, an airport, a runway, anything flat enough to land. And then he sees it. Hakodate, a city in Hokkaido. And beside it is an airport. It is small, a civilian airport, not military. But it has a runway, finally. And that is all he needs. Part 3. The Traitor's Perfect Plan. Belenko adjusts his course and heads straight there. His hands tighten on the controls. The fuel warning light starts flashing red. The engine hiccups once, then again. He is nearly out of oil. The airport is ahead, closer every second. He can see the runway clearly now, along with the terminal and civilian planes parked on the apron. The engine coughs, then fades. Viktor is gliding now, using the last drops of oil. There is a shocking truth. You might think the CIA helped him plan this. Secret meetings, US intelligence coordination. Completely wrong. Belenko planned this entire defection by himself. No outside contact, no help. Just one Soviet pilot seeking to steal the most top-secret plane under constant KGB surveillance. How do you steal it when you are watched 24/7? Viktor Belenko solved this impossible puzzle with 6 genius steps. Step 1. Choose the right time. Belenko could not just take off randomly. Every flight was recorded and monitored. He needed a valid reason to fly, so he waited months, tracking schedules, looking for the perfect opportunity. It came, September 6, 1976. A routine training flight, patrol along the Soviet coast. Permitted, expected, normal. No one would suspect until he actually disappeared. Step 2. Study maps. Belenko spent months memorizing geography, flight paths, distances. He could not carry maps or write anything down, everything in head. He calculated fuel range. How far can a MiG-25 fly with full tanks? He studied wind patterns and weather models. He memorized every airport location in North Japan: Hakodate, Sapporo, Aomori. Step 3. Tell absolutely no one. This was crucial. Belenko could not trust anyone, not colleagues, friends, not even his wife. KGB informants were everywhere. One small slip, one complaint, and he would be arrested before touching the controls. He lived a double life for months, pretending to be loyal while planning his defection. Step 4. Act normally. This was perhaps the hardest part. Belenko had to remain a perfect pilot, go to work on time, obey orders, attend party meetings, laugh as if nothing was wrong. Step 5. Execution. The day. Morning of September 6th, Belenko woke up like any other day, kissed his wife goodbye without saying it was forever. He drove to the base, wore his flight suit, attended the pre-flight briefing. He walked to his MiG-25, checked systems. Everything was stable. He climbed into the cockpit, buckled up, started the engines, and took off. Step 6. Decisive turn. After takeoff, Belenko followed the assigned route north along the coast, exactly as planned to avoid suspicion, for 15 minutes. Soviet air traffic control still tracked him on radar. Then he made the boldest move. He suddenly dropped altitude extremely low, only about 30 meters above the sea, to disappear from radar screens while hitting full throttle toward Japan. A gamble with death. At that altitude, one small mistake would crash the plane, but it was the only way to escape the pursuit. And now he is here, gliding on the Hakodate runway with the engine already dead. The MiG-25 slammed onto the runway. Boom! The landing gear absorbed the impact with a violent jolt. The plane bounced once, then fell back onto the concrete. Tires screeched, metal groaned. Viktor Belenko gripped the controls, fighting to keep the jet stable. He had no thrust, no energy, only momentum and gravity. He slammed the brakes. The plane shook violently as it slowed. Slowing down. Finally, it stopped, right in the middle of the runway of Hakodate Civilian Airport. Viktor sat there, breathing deeply. His hands were still on the controls. He had done it. He was alive. He was in Japan. And he had just stolen a MiG-25. Inside the airport terminal, chaos exploded. Passengers pressed against windows, staring in disbelief. A massive Soviet military plane had just landed on their runway, unannounced, without communication. People screamed and pointed. Others thought accident. Airport security ran around, grabbing radios. Japanese police rushed toward the airport. This was unprecedented. A foreign plane had just invaded Japanese territory. Air traffic controllers were in shock. They saw the object on radar, flying extremely fast, heading straight for them. They tried to contact, but no response. Now the MiG-25 lay there, blocking all airport activities. Commercial flights were diverted. The airport was completely closed. Viktor Belenko unbuckled, opened the cockpit canopy. Fresh air hit his face. He could hear sirens approaching from afar. He climbed out, stepped onto the wing, then touched the ground, Japanese soil. He slowly raised his hands, showing he was unarmed. Airport security vehicles braked sharply around him. Officers jumped out, guns drawn, shouting in Japanese. Belenko did not understand the words, but he understood the message: get on the ground. He knelt down, placing hands behind his head. An officer cautiously approached, pointing a gun. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Belenko spoke in broken English. "I am Soviet pilot. I want asylum. I want to go to the United States." Officers looked at each other in bewilderment. A Soviet pilot defecting with a MiG-25? This was beyond any training. Diplomacy exploded. Within hours, red phones rang. Soviet Union contacted Japan, demanding immediate return of pilot and plane, threatening catastrophic consequences. United States contacted Japan, requesting access to pilot and plane, promising maximum protection. Japan faced a life or death choice: return him to certain death or risk war with the Soviet Union. Part 5. Terrifying secrets inside the superweapon. Japan made a historic decision. They granted asylum to Viktor Belenko and allowed the United States full access to the MiG-25. The Soviet Union was furious, but it was too late. Within 48 hours, American engineers arrived at Hakodate with analysis equipment. They prepared to dismantle the monster that haunted NATO generals for a decade. They expected exotic materials and superior electronics, but what they found completely overturned Western understanding of Soviet military power. Truth 1. Steel instead of titanium. Americans believed a plane this fast must be titanium to withstand extreme friction heat, like the USSR 71 Blackbird. But when engineers touched the MiG-25, they realized it was mostly nickel steel. Steel. It was heavy and crude, because Soviets lacked technology to craft titanium at scale. To compensate for weight, they simply installed the world's largest engines. It was like mounting rocket engines on a flying tank. Truth 2. Antique but effective engineering. Opening the electronic panels, American engineers laughed, then fell silent in amazement. The plane did not use modern transistors like American planes. Instead, vacuum tubes. In 1976, vacuum tubes were considered obsolete 1950s technology. But then they realized a genius detail. Vacuum tubes resist EMP pulses from a nuclear explosion. While sophisticated US electronics would fry in nuclear war, the Soviet MiG-25 could still fight. It was a terrifyingly pragmatic design philosophy. No need for beauty or modernity, just survival. Truth 3. Not a multi-role fighter. Western intelligence feared MiG-25 maneuverability, but inspection showed rivets exposed on wing surfaces and crude welds. It was not for dogfights. It was a pure interceptor. Take off fast, fire missiles at targets, then land. Its Mach 2.8 speed was real, but could only be maintained briefly. Flying too long at that speed would destroy the engines. The value of this intelligence was estimated at over $2 billion. Americans no longer feared a non-existent ghost. They knew exactly the opponent's weaknesses. They knew how to defeat it. After 2 months of meticulous dissection, Japan returned the MiG-25 to the Soviet Union, but not as an intact aircraft. They dismantled it, packed into 30 large wooden crates like IKEA furniture. And Viktor Belenko? He was taken to America. President Gerald Ford personally signed the order granting him citizenship. Viktor started a new life with a new identity. He was amazed entering an American supermarket for the first time. He thought it was a CIA setup to trick him. While in his homeland, people queued for bread. The Soviet government refused to let his wife and son leave. Viktor never saw his family again. He lived the rest of his life in America as an aviation consultant. He passed away in September 2023, aged 76.